Pūrṇamadaṃ Pūrṇamidaṃ Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate. Kailash, want to continue on that?
Om Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamadam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇamadaṃ Pūrṇamidam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari.
Hari Om. So today, let's spend a little time understanding this particular stotra, this particular mantra rather, or shloka. Okay, so if somebody else wants to try this out, we'll chant this a couple of times. Chandraji, solrega. Om Pūrṇamadaṃ Pūrṇamidam
Om Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidam
Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Om. Anybody else? Kalpaka, you want to give it a shot?
Okay, Maharaj.
Kalpaka ka appuram neenga try pannunga Meeraji. Om Pūrṇamadaṃ Pūrṇamidam
Om Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidam
Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Very nice. Meeraji. Om Pūrṇamadaṃ Pūrṇamidam
Om Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidam
Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you, ma. So this is why I repeated this. This is a very familiar mantra, but the reason I repeated is I heard sometimes the pronunciation goes wrong. So I've heard that few times. So I just want to make sure that we pronounce it correctly. Some people say Pūrṇamaduchyate லாம் சொல்லுவா. Pūrṇamaduchyate. And if you're breaking Pūrṇameva Vaṣiṣyate அப்படிம்பா. So I just want to we chant it so that we know where to break it and also understand what the meaning is. Okay. Now this is the Shanti mantra for the Yajurveda Shakha. Yajurveda Shakha of Vedas. So which means the in Yajurveda, Ishavasya Upanishad belongs to Yajurveda. Okay. Belongs to Shukla Yajurveda. And as I said earlier, the Upanishads carry the Shanti mantra of the Veda they are sitting in. So like for example, Mandukya Upanishad, if you see, it will be Bhadrang Karane Bhishnayama Devaha. Okay. Mandukya Upanishad, Shanti mantra is that. Or if you take Taittiriya Upanishad, it will be Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha. It will be a different Shanti mantra because these Upanishads are in different Vedas. They belong to different Vedas. And we've seen the relation between what is Veda, where is Vedanta, what is Upanishad. We've seen all that. So the Shukla Yajurveda. Yajurvedas, one of the Shanti mantras, very prominent Shanti mantra is Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate. So this mantra. Now, what is this mantra saying is, we would have heard this from very early on in our younger years also, when if you've been exposed to any kind of Vedic chanting or any chants of any kind, generally you would have heard this mantra. It's very, very frequently or popularly chanted. And one of the other things, if you would have gone a little deeper into, what is this mantra, you would have also heard that this mantra is equated to what is popularly known as infinity. Right? I don't know if you've heard this. They'll say that this equation or this particular mantra you take, and you this Pūrṇam, the word Pūrṇam, you replace it with mathematical the mathematical representation of infinity, it will belong perfectly here. So this almost appears like a mathematical equation. Okay, so let's look at what the meaning of each of the word is. So what is repeating here? The one word that is repeating here through the whole mantra?
Pūrṇam.
Pūrṇam. So Pūrṇam is repeating, which means everything that is talked about here is this thing that is called Pūrṇam, this particular concept or idea, which is Pūrṇam. Pūrṇam means complete. Okay, Pūrṇam, the direct translation of Pūrṇam in English would be either complete or total. You can say total. So what is this total? And that's being described here. So it's saying Pūrṇamadaṃ. It says that whenever you make in this world, we live in a world of duality. We always say this and that, this and that. And this and that could mean anything. Right? You can objectify anything as this and objectify anything as that. But it's saying, whatever that you're objectifying, that is Pūrṇam. This is Pūrṇam. Pūrṇamidam. Here, this is complete. Pūrṇāt. So those who know Sanskrit, this is the fifth vibhakti. Panchama vibhakti. Pūrṇāt, from Pūrṇa. Pūrṇāt, Pūrṇam udachyate. From Pūrṇa, Pūrṇam udachyate. Udachyate means rises, comes out or rises. Udikkiradu, Tamil la solluvom illaya, udikkiradu. The same root word. Udachyate. So that is from Pūrṇa comes Pūrṇa. Okay, so that is Pūrṇa, this is Pūrṇa. From Pūrṇa comes what? Pūrṇa. Then the next line goes, Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamādāya. Ādāya means to remove. So from Pūrṇa, from whatever of this Pūrṇa that is there, Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamādāya, you take out Pūrṇa, Pūrṇam eva avashishyate. Pūrṇam eva avashishyate. Pūrṇam alone, avashishyate means remains. Shesha means the balance, remainder. What remains? Pūrṇam. Eva means only or alone. That is the meaning of this particular mantra. So how does it go? That is complete. This is complete. From complete, you remove complete. What remains is complete. That is complete. This is complete. From complete rises complete. Then from complete, you remove complete. What remains is complete in itself. You replace the word complete by total, or you replace it with the universe, the world, everything. Anything you replace it with, what it's saying is that which is total, which Vedas, the literature, scriptures, realized beings, everybody point to that self, that Brahman, that consciousness, that is objectified here as Pūrṇa. Okay. Now, a few things here to note. we have to go into each of these words, right? And to understand what it really means for me. Now, I said there's a mathematical equation that comes out of this, right? Now, you replace Purnam with infinity. In mathematics, you have infinity, right? So look at the Purnat Pūrṇamudachyate. So if you subtract or you add infinity plus infinity, what remains is, what comes out as an outcome is equal to infinity. Infinity minus infinity, of course, it's not infinity, it's undefined. Usually what they say is it's not infinity, it's undefined, which means it's still, you can still say that it's that which is beyond our comprehension. And whatever mathematical equation you apply to infinity, what remains there is not necessarily infinity, but if it's undefined, it's still something beyond a numerical value. It's beyond a numerical value. Okay, so that is how you map it to mathematics. Now, what is this mantra trying to tell you or tell us is that how do you bring it into our perception? Now, what is it that you experience on a daily basis? Do we experience completeness or do we experience lack of completeness? We experience a lack, correct? We experience some kind of a lack, which is why we try to do things to complete that, to feel. And whenever you feel complete, there is a sense of completion, accomplishment, you feel joy. Can we take Purnam as zero? We could actually, Purnam could also be taken as zero. So it's an interesting point, Kailash. From one side it's Shunya, the other side is Purna. So Purna and Shunya are just two ways of looking at the same thing.
No, why I thought is 0 minus 0 is 0. It fits like infinity.
You're right. You're right. The only problem zero has is in mathematics. If you add 1 to 0, it becomes 1. It doesn't remain as 0.
But they are not talking about that, right? They are talking Purnam plus Purnam minus Purnam.
Correct. That's right. So 0 minus 0 is 0, 0. But it's an interesting conversation we should also look at some other time, where we see Shunya and Purnam. Shunya and Purnam are actually one and the same when you see it from a different perspective. It's two ends of the spectrum, but it's the same point if you take it on a circle, it's the same point. Where you start, that's where you end. So it's whether you look at it as Shunya or Purnam, it's kind of same from both sides. Now, coming back to this, what is it that we experience? We experience lack of completion. We don't experience totality, correct? We experience that I'm lacking something and hence I try to obtain it. So, for example, relationships. If I feel I am very lonely, I seek out relationships because in relationship, I think I will get joy and which will make me feel complete. In doing an activity, in getting some name, some fame, in trying to get some acknowledgement, in trying to acquire material possessions, in trying to learn more and more. Any activity that you see we do is in the pursuit of that fulfillment or completion or totality that we are seeking. Correct? It is in pursuit of that. Because we feel incomplete now. In fact, even when we have children also, why do we have children? Because we feel incomplete. First, we feel incomplete as our own selves. Then we marry because we think that I am alone, I am feeling incomplete, let me marry. Then after we marry, sometime we feel a little complete. There's this honeymoon period. And after that, again, we start feeling incomplete together. Then we want to have a child. Then we feel complete with the child. We feel complete with the child for a period of time. And then after the child grows, and then you start feeling, you start again feeling incomplete, and then you start searching for other things to do to make yourself feel complete, and so on and so forth. So this keeps going on and on, correct? So which means when we are seeking for something, what we're seeking is, we are essentially not seeking for that object. We are seeking for something so that it can complete us. Correct? What is the Upanishad saying? You are already complete. In fact, the whole study of Vedanta, or whole process of what they call as self-realization, is essentially, you are not trying to understand something new. We are trying to realize what is already there. And this is presented in different ideas. They talk about as Maya, they talk about as Ishvara, they talk of it as the Shakti, whatever, the veil that is covering. But the whole idea is, this substance that is there, that you're experiencing, that you're wanting to locate, is already present. Like the example of the Kasturi Man, the musk deer. When it comes of age, there is a certain beautiful smell that gets originated from its udder. From the udder, the Kasturi Man generates musk. But the deer doesn't understand where this fragrance is coming from, and it goes around searching in the forest frantically. It goes, it'll hit itself, it'll go and try to smell in bushes and thorny places, it'll bleed. And sometimes there are stories that are told that it'll go so crazy with that fragrance and not knowing where it's coming from, it'll jump off a cliff. So desperately trying to search for it. Not knowing in the process that the whole time it was within. And it was searching for the fragrance outside. So what the Upanishad is trying to bring our attention to is that you're trying to locate this sense of completion in the outside is something that is present wherever you look around. So first it says Pūrṇamadaṃ. That. Now what is that? That can be anything here, right? That can be, if you're looking at it from me as Jiva and the creator as Ishvara. So this is this Jiva, this I am this, and that, it's saying that is complete. That is Pūrṇa. It doesn't require anything to be added to that. Right? Adaha Pūrṇamasti. Idam api Pūrṇamasti. This also is Pūrṇa. This is also Pūrṇam. This means me. Now, how do you see this? Like, for example, if I you take examples of people who are decapitated, right? For whatever reasons, they lose an arm, they lose a leg, they lose some part of their body. When you notice the joy and the happiness they experience, it is not diminished because an organ of their body is dysfunctioning or not there. Correct? See, even within me, if suppose my ear stops functioning effectively for a period of time, I'll be sad that my ear is stopping to function and I'm not able to hear clearly. But whenever there is joy that rises in me, whenever that joy rises, it is not less because the ear is functioning little less. Likewise, the eyes. If the eyes are starting to see dimmer and I'm not wearing my spectacles, the joy that rises from an event, from an incident, from whatever happens, when the joy rises from inside, at that moment when the joy is rising, it is not dependent on the quality of your eye. Correct? So think about this. Whenever there is this joy that wells up in whatever form, it is not dependent on any of the faculties that you have. Physical faculties or internal faculties, karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, any kind of indriyas that you have, this particular joy is not dependent on that. Now this is in the waking state. Now look at the dream state. In the dream state, when there is joy that comes, for whatever reason you've seen something, you've experienced something in the dream state, in the dream, you don't tell yourself, hey, why are you getting so joyful? This is just a dream. After you wake up, maybe you will say, oh, so stupid. It was just a dream. What am I so joyful of? Right? I got an Oscar only in the dream. You say that after you get up. But in the dream, when you receive an Oscar, you're feeling elated, right? You're feeling on the top of the world.
Like that could work as an auto suggestion, and later you might end up getting the Oscar.
Correct. So that will be a wonderful thing to happen, right? But then in the dream, you don't tell yourself this is just a dream. So that fulfillment, feeling of fulfillment in the dream is complete, total. It's entire. There's no lacking there. Right? So these are the two realms where we experience something. Of course, deep sleep, we don't experience anything. There is what that is there is complete in itself. There's nothing lacking in deep sleep. In deep sleep, after you come out of deep sleep, do you say that you'll never say that deep sleep was good or bad? There's no adjective that you assign to deep sleep. Your sleep may be good or bad. You may have had a disturbed sleep. You may have had an incomplete sleep. But for the period of time you go into deep sleep, it is always blissful. It is always complete. There's no lacking there. So idam, whatever you experience here, notice it is Pūrṇam. It is complete. Correct? Whenever this joy and happiness rises. So the question is, what is the source of this joy and happiness? Correct? Now the problem is that the source we are associating with objects on the outside. So then what it says, Pūrṇāt, from this Pūrṇa, whatever you're experiencing this as Pūrṇa, you take out Pūrṇa. Which means, from how do you take out joy from joy? How do you, is there a way to take out joy from joy? What it means is, this thing that you're experiencing as joy, whenever you experience, it's total in itself. And it also means that when you share a certain joy, I know this is slightly controversial. When you share your joy does not go down. Now you may say that it depends on who I'm sharing the joy with and how they react and how they respond. I was so joyful and shared with him. He didn't show even a little bit of reaction. So now I am sad. that is a different problem. But then the act of sharing itself, it doesn't reduce your joy. In fact, many a times when you're wanting to share your joy, it is only increasing. It only increases. So your feeling of joy doesn't go down. It is only subsequently whatever happens, the way you receive the reaction or the response, it has a bearing. But otherwise, in itself, what you share. So Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate. This is similar to, here the other example is of a lamp. So from the lamp of fire, the fire in the lamp, you burn another lamp or you burn 1,000,000 lamps, there is absolutely no reduction in quality or quantity of the earlier flame. Correct? Any number of lamps you burn from the fire flame of an existing lamp, there is no impact whatsoever to the original flame. You can go burn down a whole forest with a small flame. This flame will still be there as it is, in its pure form. Right? Pūrṇāt Pūrṇam udachyate. So from this flame, or from this Pūrṇa, that you are, rises the Pūrṇa. right? Where does this completeness, feeling of joy come from? This which is within me, which is complete in itself, which across the three states of my consciousness, my waking, my dreaming, my deep sleep, in these three states, that which I experience is complete, always there. From there comes this joy. From there comes this, the sense of Purna. And Purnat Pūrṇamudachyate. Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadaya. I take out, even if I take out Purnam from this Purnam, what remains is Purnam. Purnam eva avashishyate. What that means is that it essentially means to say that this Purna that is there within you cannot be taken away. That is what it means. It means that this cannot be taken away from you. It's a way of saying Purnat Purnasya Pūrṇamadaya. Purnam eva avashishyate means how much ever you take out from here, it will remain complete, means nothing can be taken away from there. Because we saw the previous mantra 8. Asnaviram. What was that mantra said? It cannot be wounded, if you remember. Let me just get to that mantra. Mantra 8. Avranam. Avranam. Akayam avranam asnaviram shuddham apapaviddham. Akayam, bodiless. Avranam, spotless, without wounds. How can something be without wounds? Avranam, purely by the virtue that it does not, it's not something that can be, it's not in component parts. It is not in component parts. It is not that something you can take out and hence it remains, leaves out a wound there, or leaves out a cavity or a vacancy. Correct? So it's complete. Now the whole thing we're talking about is that is complete, which means now this is something that has to be only experienced to some level. You experience or understand this intellectually. Beyond that, we have to try to experience this or go through this experientially. Experientially means we have to sit with this mantra and try to actually process it within us to see, okay, now I'm sitting here. Right now I'm sitting. Is there anything lacking in me? Okay. Now the mind will come up with 100 things. All right. The mind will come up with 100 things to say, oh, you're lacking this, you're lacking that, and all of that. I shut the mind off. I mean, it's hard to shut the mind off, but I'm saying you can negotiate with the mind and say that you be quiet for a while. Let me really see if I'm lacking anything. And you look at the mind objectively and you tell, it's you who are telling, you hold on. It's you who's telling me this. But what is happening to me right now? Do I feel a sense of incompleteness, a lack of fulfillment? Because I have experienced things come, I experience joy, things go, I experience some sadness, then again things come, experience joy, things go, experience sadness. But then this coming and going that is there, in this whole process, there is something that is silently watching. Correct? This coming and going, there is something that is silently watching. Now, in the silent watching, in the Sakshi, is there anything that is incomplete? The Sakshi is always there, correct? The Sakshi is always present and always available whenever you're wanting to touch it. Whenever you're wanting to just turn inwards and look at the Sakshi, excuse me, the Sakshi, whether you're doing something or whether you're not doing something, whether you're happy or whether you're sad, whether you're excited or whether you're calm, whether you're peaceful or whether you're agitated, whether you have clarity of mind and understanding, or whether you're dull-minded or confused, whether you're determined about something or whether you're wavering, whether you're hungry, whether you're filled, your stomach's filled, whether you're feeling cold, whether you're feeling hot, if you're feeling love for somebody, you're feeling hatred for someone, whether you're feeling kindness, you're feeling compassion, all of this process, you look at it, the Sakshi is sitting there smiling and watching. Correct. So in all of this process, when you look at this Sakshi that is there, is it incomplete? The incompletion, the sense of incompletion is a layer on top of it. It's something, whether you're sleeping or waking or dreaming, whatever, also the Sakshi is there. So the sense of incompletion, where is this? The sense of incompletion is happening in this layer which is in front of it. Somewhere in front of it, where there is this whole psychological world that is created. I want this, I am this, I want this. So there is this difference between aham or idam and adaha, this and that, tvam and tat. So the difference is what is causing this whole understanding or this whole sense of incompletion, the lack of fulfillment. Correct? And what the Upanishad is saying, don't revel on this area or this layer where these things are coming and going. These things are important for transactional purposes. You have to engage in the world, you have to show joy, you have to show sadness, you have to dance this way, that way, you have to do all of that. See, Bhagavan Krishna, when he was present on earth, he still showed anger, he still showed some kind of sadness, he showed joy, he showed various kinds of emotions, he showed love, he showed rejection, he did all of that. By doing that, on the outside, it did not impact him in the inside, because in the inside he knows that he is the Sakshi. It does not matter whatever is happening on the outside. So this is important, right? What this mantra is saying, it is bringing our attention back to that. The mantra that we looked at as the 8th mantra is also similar in a way. It's trying to describe the whole principle of consciousness. Saparyaga chukramakayam avvranamasnaviram shuddham apapaviddham. That whole mantra. Now Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidam is trying to give you a little more, in a way, it's trying to drive us deeper into that, not looking at it as an object. See, in the 8th mantra, it said Saha Paryagat Chukramakayam Avvranamasnaviram Shuddhama Papa Viddham Kavir Manishi Paribhuhu Yatha Tattitorthan Yadadacha Shutibhah Samabhyah. This mantra is telling Saha, which means it. It is pointing to it as it, which means that you're still objectifying it to some extent. But in the Pūrṇamidaṃ mantra, it is not objectifying it outside. Saying that which you're objectifying outside is also Pūrṇa. This which you're trying to objectify is also Pūrṇa, and everything here is Pūrṇa. So it is trying to create a greater subjectivity of this principle rather than objectifying it on the outside. Correct? So this is where it helps us turn inwards. It tries to bring us to a point to say that whatever experience I carry is not dependent on my physical situation. What I'm trying to say is, if you're feeling sad about something, whether a one-legged guy is feeling sad or a two-legged guy is feeling sad, sadness is the same. The experiences that you have is exactly the same. But then it's pointing us to the source of the experience. It is pointing us to go to that place within us from where experience is rising. Pūrṇamada, Pūrṇāt Pūrṇam udachyate. So that which is coming out from that is Pūrṇa. From where it is coming? All of these things are coming out from the Pūrṇa. Now, just one interesting point it may occur to us is that we are telling everything out in the world is Pūrṇa. Is it so? Whatever is risen out from here, we are telling this is Pūrṇa. Everything that's risen out from here is Pūrṇa. Is the world out there really Pūrṇa? Is the world complete? Now, what is the concept of complete? Now it kinds of breaks down, right? You don't know what we're talking about. Is the universe total in itself? Now, we try to go through Vedanta, we say, okay, I am total because I am the Sakshi, I am this observer, I am Satchitananda Swarupa, I am observing everything, hence I don't see any impact to the self that is observing. All of that is good. But the Upanishad is also saying that which you see as the manifest world is also complete. It's saying that, right? How do you reconcile this? This can be reconciled also to some amount, through some amount of logical or intellectual analysis. When you look at the world, what do you think can be done to the world which can make it any better than what it is? This is one issue that we carry, right? The issue that we carry is we think that the world outside, there is something that has got to be changed. Something that has to be changed. Not only the world outside. We start from our immediate relatives, the immediate people around us, the society, or even the people around us that we talk to, we engage with, or the society around us, the family around us, the society around us, or the nation that we are living in, the state that we are living in, or the world as a whole. There is this thing that goes in our head saying that we've got to change it. Correct? We've got to change it, and it's important that we change it. Because there is some thing that we feel that it should be in a certain way. It should be in a certain way and not in this way. Correct? It should be in a different way than what it is. That is how we think. The world should be in a way different than what it is right now. But then if you go a little deeper, there have been so many people who have come and gone. Has the world changed? உலகம் மாறி இருக்கா? கிருஷ்ணரோட காலத்திலேயே he says, oh, after my time it is Kali Yuga. So, and even during those times we had people like, we always had people, even during Rama Avatara you had a Ravana. Even during the Satyuga you had Asuras. Every yuga there have been good, bad, ugly, all of that. Every yuga there have been people who have always worked towards the betterment of other people, and there have been people who have been destroying them. Who always had this. It's always been there. You've had a Hitler come and go, you've had a Vivekananda come and go. So the point is not who has done what. That's immaterial. Of course, now rishis have come and gone, so they have given the Upanishads, so hence today we are able to make use of it. That is good. Vishwamitra has given the Gayatri mantra because he is the Mitra of the Vishwa. He is the friend of the world. He has given it. Now, what the problem that we do is, we look at a Vivekananda, or we look at an Adi Shankara, or we look at a Vishwamitra, and we are telling that, see, they have done so much good for the world. We should also do good for the world. Look at how the mind is working here. We are not focusing on what they did before they did good for the world. They didn't want to go around doing good for the world. That was not their intention. Their intention is to first sort themselves out. Correct? Adi Shankara, at the age of 8, he went to the Guru first. He didn't go starting and preaching outside. He went to the Guru first, which means he wanted to fix himself. Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna to fix himself. Vishwamitra did a lot of tapas and penance. Fix himself. We forget that part. How much have we done to fix ourselves and bring ourselves to this state of understanding and complete understanding that Pūrṇamidaṃ, that I am complete. Now, when we arrive at this conclusion within us, and we understand that I am not this individual entity, and then whatever comes out in the form of sharing, joy, love, kindness, compassion, whatever comes out in different forms. For Adi Shankara, it came out as going and preaching Advaita Vedanta. For Dakshinamurti, it was in the form of silence. He didn't say anything. Ramakrishna is sitting in only one place, while Vivekananda traveled the whole of India. Ramakrishna didn't go and call people, you come to me, become my student. So the important thing is to understand this difference between wanting to change the world because so many people have actually gone and changed the world, and first fixing yourself. None of these people started out wanting to change the world. So what we understand here is there is nothing to change in the world. There's nothing that needs to be done. First thing is fix ourselves. We fix ourselves. That is why the Upanishad is saying that which is there is Pūrṇam, Pūrṇamadaṃ. It's complete, it's Purna. Don't worry about it. Right? Don't worry about it. Of course, if somebody who comes to you is needing help, you do the help. If somebody needs some assistance from you, do that. If somebody needs some kindness, show that. In whatever small ways we can do, we offer that. But that doesn't mean with the attitude that I am going out to change the world. Oh, the world, this place is like this, I am going to go bring reform. Nothing is going to happen. Because unless we reform ourselves, what are you going to spread out there? If we still carry the ego that I am reforming, then when you are trying to reform, that ego is going to spill over in everything that you do. Correct? So, very important. Vedanta one, of course, any of these spiritual studies or masters don't say that don't do anything. But they're saying do that with the right level of understanding within. If you are messy, you will go and create a messy world. So the urgency is not to fix the world. The urgency is to fix ourselves, right? So that is why the Upanishad says, Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidaṃ, Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate. So it means right here, right now, everything is complete. Don't start with the premise that, something's got to be fixed. Don't start with that premise. If I am doing meditation, I don't have to go and tell my family that, hey, meditation is so beautiful, it's so nice, everybody now come to meditation. Suddenly I found this newfound joy of meditation. I do Rudram chanting or a Saundarya Lahari chanting. It's everybody must chant. You suddenly found joy in it, then you're pushing everybody to do it. It's good. You can go and do that. But do it from a certain place of accomplishment within. Recognition that yes, I've understood, I felt the joy, and I will share it. Whoever is wanting to pick it up, come pick it up. I've seen some people, when they go to Vedanta sessions or Upanyasams and all that, they will note down all the beautiful points that are said there and then come and show it to the wife. See, எப்படி இருக்கணும்னு சொல்லியிருக்கார் தெரியுமா? வைஃப் சொல்லுவோம், உங்களுக்கு சொல்லியிருக்காரு, எனக்கு இல்லை. It's been told to you, not to me. Because I didn't attend the Upanyasam. So the important thing is, whenever we look at this, always the important thing is, how do we process it for ourselves? How do we bring it within and make it relevant to ourselves? First, we make it relevant to ourselves first. And then when the world operates, when the world sees, works with you, they will see it. They will experience it. They will see it, and then slowly it will start. That is how you start spreading it like fragrance. Ramana Maharshi was described by Paul Brenton as a rose. Even Nochur Venkatraman also, he says, a rose does not go around doing pracharam for a honey bee or a bee to come and sit on it. A bee that wants honey will find the rose. All the rose has to do is just bloom, blossom. The only work of the rose is it blossoms it to its fullest potential. Whatever bees need to come, it will come and it will benefit from it. If we spend a lot of time trying to think, how do I benefit the world? In the process, losing out on how to stabilize myself. Go to that place within me where even if this world doesn't exist, I know I am complete. Nothing exists, everything drops. I know I am complete. My husband comes, my wife comes, my children come, don't come, nothing, everything, I am still complete. There are people recognizing me, people suddenly not recognizing me. Today I am known by 1,000 people, tomorrow only 3 people know me. Doesn't matter, I am complete. If we reach that point within us, then whatever needs to happen will happen. Through you, the benefit that needs to happen to the world will happen. Then you become a mere channel, a mere instrument. This is important. Right? So when will this happen? When you truly recognize Pūrṇamada, Pūrṇamidaṃ, Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate, Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadaya Pūrṇam eva avashishyate. What remains is Pūrṇa, and this is complete. The more and more we keep telling this to ourselves, that it is complete, everything is complete, right now, right here, everything is complete. Repeatedly we say this mantra. The mind may take you to a place saying that, no, it's not. What are you talking about? Yesterday, the food I was served, the more Pūrṇamada did not have uppu. என்ன பேசுற? இந்த மோர் குழம்புல ஒழுங்கா உப்பு கூட போட தெரியல, பூர்ணமத பூர்ணமிதம் பேசுறாங்களா அப்படி? That's the problem. We immediately try to see how that person is wrong. How do I put blame on somebody else for my incompleteness? Your incompleteness is not coming because of somebody else's action. Your incompleteness or our incompleteness comes from the place because we are fundamentally seeking in the wrong place. There is one joke I remember my Chittappa told me when I was very young. There's this man who was, and it's very profound, this thing. There's a man who was, who lost his ring somewhere. And he comes and he starts searching frantically, looking for his ring. And then somebody comes and asks him, where did you lose the ring? And he says, I think I lost it somewhere there. He's saying, why aren't you searching there? So, no, but the light is only here now. So I'm searching here. Just because light is here, you can't search, you'll not find it here. Where you have lost it, that's where you got to find it. So like that, just because the world shows you certain things and we keep searching for that thing in the world, doesn't mean that we'll find it in the world. How much ever we try, we will not find it in the world. It's the same thing. Just because the world is so bright and lighted up in front of us, we may not find it in the world. But yes, once you find it in yourself, you will see it in the world. That's the beauty of this thing. Once we find it here, we will see it in the world. We will experience the same thing in the world. Oh, the joy that I'm feeling here, I am able to see the joy while watching a movie, or while sitting in a satsang, or while I'm at a restaurant, or I'm sitting alone in a forest or a mountain top by the ocean. Wherever I'm sitting, I can find this joy. This is very important. And which is why many times, we'll close it in a minute now, many times it's important to go into isolation. Take time off. Go into places of complete isolation. And if better still, go into places of go into places where there's nature. Where there is nature, there is mountains, there is oceans, there is forest. Go into these places and spend some time in silence. Just being. You don't have to necessarily do dhyana. You just be there and experience the place. You'll feel that how small you are. And there is a much larger intelligence that is operating. And this larger intelligence is complete. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go and sit on the mountain and say that in the mountain konjam taller irukku idu short pannalam. No. Mountain is beautiful the way it is. You are able to climb or not able to climb is your problem. You can't go and tell a mountain it's too tall, I have to cut it down and make it shorter. Don't do all those things, right? We just go there, we experience the beauty, and you'll see, even if you don't exist, there is this beautiful intelligence that is existing all around. And it's complete. What is there to change? Beautiful birds are there, the sea is there, the mountaintops, the trees, everything. So this sense of Purna comes when we actually go into spaces of this kind, in isolation. You go and spend and you will see. Because we are always in engagement with people, it's very hard to experience this sense of this grand intelligence and this thing that is there. Which is why we go on yatras, where we actually go to such places where it's untouched by human beings. Many such places are there, completely untouched, and you see that it's grand and beautiful in itself. It's complete. So all we need to do is connect ourselves to that. So we connect that Pūrṇam to this Pūrṇam, and we experience this Pūrṇam all around, all the time. Okay. So we'll close with that today. Kailashji will chant a couple of times again.
Yep.
Om Pūrṇamadaṃ Pūrṇamidam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Om Pūrṇamada Pūrṇamidam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate.
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamadāya Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami sadashivayeti samarpayami jagadambikaye iti samarpayami sadgurunathayeti samarpayami. Hari Om Tat Sat Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Dhanyawad.
Thank you very much. See, even the silence you'll see that is complete, right?